Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh, I just woke up from a 2-hour nap. I woke up from a 2-hour nap and then I realized I actually had a letter I needed to write. And my letter is due tomorrow morning and I forgot to write it. So I got to get that done. But oh well, that's life. I'll get it done. It'll get done. It's 4 o'clock. It'll get done. It's not a long letter, so it'll get done. So, hello, people watching this. My eyes are having a hard time here. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's a lot better actually. I like this red light. Okay, everybody. So if you're watching this, you are watching Advanced Emotions for Dummies with your host, Dr. Donnie. I'm Dr. Donnie, and I'm a sociology professor at CSU East Bay in Hayward, California. Move you over here. Sociology professor at CSU East Bay in Hayward, California. And my work deals with social emotional learning. And through some life experience things, have put together a workbook called The Book of You for helping people. It's a social emotional workbook for adults. And from that, I've been putting together these classes called Emotions for Dummies. As well, I am going back to school so I can become a school counselor. Okay, I'm getting a second career. So I work and go to school full time. And that's the reason why I have to take a nap for 2 hours in the daytime. I also have a lot of stress and sleeping struggles. Sleeping struggles. That's real. That's real. Okay, so this is the advanced month where we're doing the advanced things. And only one person RSVP today. So there's a chance, well, like any week, there's a chance no one's coming, or there's a chance, who knows, 6, 7 people are coming. So I'm trying to just make space. Oh, here we go. I'm going to just make space to be present for anyone that may be coming today. Maybe we'll just wait about maybe 3, 4, 5 more minutes just to welcome people in and encourage them to get comfortable. And hello, Antoinette. Hello, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. And of course, for anyone who does come, and for anyone who's watching this video, the question is always, how are you feeling? I guess I can turn the lights back on. My eyes are getting a little better. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? And of course, you are welcome to answer that question in any way that works for you. You can speak, you can type, or you can just not say anything. You get the right to just honor silence also. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Hi, how are you? How is your back doing? I'll tell you in 1 second. I'm feeling good, getting over cold. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for asking me how I'm doing, because I really wanted to unload. I had an extremely difficult week. An extremely difficult week. Well, for one, for the past about 2 months now, since I switched to a new therapist, and I had to tell my new therapist my childhood story, I've had a hard time sleeping. I have not had one night of just full sleep since the day I had to tell her my childhood story. So all this stuff's been coming up. So I'm really thankful for that because it's a lot of healing that's happening. But and I am very frustrated that I can't get a solid night's sleep. Very frustrated. This week was particularly hard because I had a paper that was due on Tuesday, that I had to present in class on Wednesday, and the paper was due on Tuesday at 4. And Tuesday at 5 p.m. is when I decided to check and make sure that this paper was actually due next week, because I just convinced myself it had to be due next week. And no, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was due. It was due the next day. So it was already due. Actually, it was due an hour ago. So I had to, even though I worked the whole day already, I was ready to go home and just lay in bed and maybe make some spaghetti. I had to sit here and work on that paper, and I did it, but it was a lot of effort. Especially for somebody who wasn't sleeping well. So I did it, and then I went to sleep for a few hours, and I woke up at 3 a.m. and then I came back here to my office and I worked on that paper. And I presented it in class, and it went really well. It's just that it was a counseling paper, so it's about a client I'm working with, and the client has gang related activity in his life, and he's actually really worried he might, he may be shot, killed, living in his gang filled neighborhood. So having to, talking about it, listening to the clips of what I've been hearing in our sessions with my client, opening up to other people about it, made me realize how triggering it is to hear my client's stories. I mean, he's 17 and he's got all these stories about running from the police and gang violence and beating people up and guns being in his face and just all sorts of stuff, So I've had nights where I couldn't sleep because I was worried about my client. I was just worried about him. So all that came up yesterday, and I just the class I'm in is a space to really let out our feelings about the things we're dealing with as counselors. So I cried well, at one point my counselor teacher said, "I've lost." I'm gonna cry right now. She said, I've lost students before. I've had a few students who came from families that had gangs, or they were in gangs, and they are in jail today, or they didn't make it. They didn't make it past high school. They're not alive today. And when she said that to me, I mean, that was my deepest fear, is that this young man, for whatever reason, he just turns a wrong corner. I'm trying to help him. Maybe I do help him. He's happier with his life. He's more relaxed. He turns a corner and someone he didn't expect to see is there, and he gets shot and killed. That is my biggest fear about that situation. So when she said that, I've lost clients. I just lost it. I told her she was like, Donnie, you look really, really bugged. What's going on? How can we help you here? And I said, I really want to just turn my microphone off and scream at the top of my lungs. And she said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And by the grace of God, my finger managed to hit the microphone button, hit the space bar just in time before I just lost it. Like, I mean, I lost it. I lost it. No one came into the room, but after I got it together, 20, 30 minutes later, I went to the bathroom and someone said they heard me and they didn't know what to do. Oh, I just lost it. Everybody on Zoom could, the microphone was off, so they could just see me. They could just see all that going on. So I'm just, and I'm telling this to you because you're the first person I've even said what happened to. So I'm just kind of replaying what happened. I don't have words to explain what that was, but it was like an exorcism. So much repressed fear and just fear, hurt, and not even about this client, my life. Just repressed life, just stuff, just came out of me, just came out of me. So yeah, I'm feeling kind of light. I'm feeling a lot lighter today, but I'm also feeling tired. I'm feeling really weary, tired. Yeah, yeah. Hey, so let me ask. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. Sorry you had to go through that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was sorry I had to go through it too. I have to say though, I'm telling you, it was the moment she said, I've had clients die. I was like, wow, being a counselor might very well mean, you know? I mean, people die all the time, right? So you can be working with anyone and just life can happen and they could die. And that is part of being a counselor. Or, hey, it's part of being a human. It's part of being a human. Anyone can die anytime. So that's hard. That's really hard to sit with. It's really hard to sit with. And it just, all of our, I think all of us live with these assumptions, expectations that the people we love, you know, aren't going to poof, disappear on us. So I don't know. Taking that in was really hard. Taking that in is really hard. But now that I'm taking it in, I'm making peace with it. You know, anybody can die at any time, including me. And sure, my client could turn a corner and something bad happened to him, and I could turn a corner and something bad could happen to me. And some old lady could turn a corner, and something bad could happen to her too. And and this is life. This is life. Being a counselor is all about dealing with real life. Living is about dealing with real life. I can imagine how that feels to get to know someone, getting attached, oh, and don't know when you'll see them again. And don't know when you'll see them again. Yeah, yeah. Ain't that hard? That's so, yeah. And at the same time, that's what we all do. You know, you date someone, you get along, you think you're gonna see them again. Maybe you keep dating, you keep dating, you keep dating. 3 months go by, it's going really well. You decide to be exclusive, and then still the next day something can go wrong and you never see them again. You're together for 5 years, you got married, you're together for 10 years, you have 2 kids, and then something can go wrong and then you never see them again. Oh, man. I'm lucky. I haven't had a lot of death happen in my life. I mean, I lost my grandparents, grandfathers, and a grandmother. And I have family members who are no longer in my life due to drama. So they're dead to me. They're drama dead to me. You could call it that. But, actual death was my grandparents. And that's about it, really. And, so there's still a whole mystery to death that I know I'm still walking through, making sense of. So, yeah, it's very good. It brought up all these feelings. Being depressed and suicidal when I was younger, that was very much a living death. So, I'm also sort of sitting with those feelings. Like I'm worried someone might kill my client, but you know what? Someone killed me. I did. That's what suicide is. Someone tried to kill me. Someone tried to kill me. I never say it like that. That's the truth of it. Someone tried to kill me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sitting with a lot of stuff. I'm sitting with a lot of stuff. Okay. So today, today in our Emotions for Dummies series, we are doing inner child work. So what a great topic for today, huh? Inner child work. So inner child work is I put this together because when I was first doing all these inner child meditations and talking to your inner child, people all thought, oh, inner child stuff, that's cute. Oh, your inner child, all spiritual. Okay, people did that to me. Okay, So I decided one day to actually research what exactly is your inner child anyway. And what I got was your inner child is really, well, healing your inner child, or what's called inner child work, can otherwise be called healing toxic shame. Toxic shame. Okay. Okay, so as always, if you feel like reading along, feel free. And if you're tired, not feeling it, got too much going on, you're getting over a cold and your eyes are full of cold gunk, then you are more than welcome to close your eyes, get still, let these words bypass the brain and go into the heart. Okay. Okay, so this material comes from healer psychic Teal Swan's YouTube page. Teal Swan is a healer psychic person on YouTube. She's got a whole bunch of videos you can check out. Really awesome person. And the book Healing the Shame That Binds You by John Bradshaw. And it also comes with a poem because I wanted to add a poem here. So let me read this poem. This is To a Child by Christopher Marley. The greatest poem ever known is one all poets have outgrown. The poetry innate, untold, of being only 4 years old, still young enough to be a part of nature's great, impulsive heart, born comrade of bird and bee, and unself-conscious as the tree, and yet with lovely reason skilled, each day new paradise to build, a late explorer of each sense, without dismay, without pretense. In your unstrained, transparent eyes, there is no conscience, no surprise. Life's queer conundrums you accept, your strange divinity still kept. And life that sets all things in rhyme may make you poet too, in time. But there were days, oh tender elf, when you were poetry itself. As babies, we are born with a complete, unique, innate sense of being, but also innocent and powerless. Then we are socialized into a family and a society that teaches us that certain thoughts, actions, and desires are good, acceptable, and others are bad. Or in other words, we learn to judge and compare, which leads to shame and guilt. Guilt is feeling bad about going against your morals. Shame is the recognition of one's limitations. Shame and guilt can either be healthy or toxic. Feeling guilty about something you did promotes thinking about how to do it differently. And feeling shame prompts you to question your beliefs. Ideally, shame teaches us to value our connection to God and appreciate our limited part in the larger picture. However, when we have guilt, shame about a core part of our identity, like our race, class, gender, sexuality, or if your parents made you feel wrong for just being alive or wanting anything, then we develop toxic shame and start to deny and hide who we are so we can be accepted by others. As kids, our parents were our role models and only friends for many years. And so they literally made up our whole sense of life, universe. We are not born with a developed sense of I yet. So we trust caregivers to model for us both how to be a person and what to expect from others. By teaching us to eat, bathe, ride a bike, and learn, we start to internalize how we should care for and love ourselves. Shame is so deep that by the age of 3, children have already ingrained in them a model of how to process their shame by watching their caregivers. So not only is the shame we feel ours, it is also the shame we inherited from our caregivers or even ancestors, which can outright crush our childhood ego. If our parents gave us good enough support, we grow up feeling the universe is on our side. However, if our parents violated our boundaries, then we feel the universe is against us. If we can call the light the conscious, open, and healthy parts of ourselves, then the shadow is our childhood wounds, deep emotional boundary violations, buried by shame into our subconscious. These parts are in resistance to the light, so addressing them is called shadow work. Because this shadow often begins in childhood, this is also known as inner child work. In a healthy adult-child relationship, the adult demonstrates healthy shame by recognizing their limitations, taking responsibility for how they deal with their feelings, and admitting to their faults. However, in a toxic shame-based environment, we learn to ignore our feelings, blame, guilt, shame others, take things personally, and never admit to being wrong ever. This teaches children that they are responsible for the abuse that happens to them and the traumatic things they are feeling. To survive this soul murder, we learn to repress. Repress everything. Shame is considered a master emotion because it represses everything it touches. Healthy shame can teach you balance and boundaries, but toxic shame teaches you to hide all your feelings. Even if you feel happy or do something good, toxic shame will tell you that your feeling is wrong, you are bad for feeling it, and you need to fight, repress it. There are a million things you may have been toxic shamed over as an innocent child. Your body and its changes, behavior and meal times or bathing, asserting your individuality and choices to your parents, family, religion and cultural norms, expectations, judgments, comparisons by other adults, teachers, friends, school, media, even your basic needs for love, attention, and support. Your own inner voice may be filled with the shame, yelling, and pessimism of those who raised you. Your childhood may have had so much shame, you just gave up, went numb, or silent, or bitter, or imploded. I'll say that too. And just became someone else to please everyone or survive the soul murder. This ego split means that the two parts of our brain, the frontal rational part and the back emotional part, do not develop together. You can use logic and willpower to change yourself, but your repressed natural emotional self can only react from experience. Consequently, your adult identity may figure out how to be free and assertive, while your inner child self continues to feel 2 decades of poisonous core shaming. Parts of you may be hypersensitive and prone to outbursts of hidden rage, terror, or depression suicide, like the living dead. You may overcompensate for the loss by becoming a superficial nice guy, or a caretaker or people pleaser, which hides your needs through enabling, rescuing, and using others. We all want to fill that core badness emptiness so much we will engage in anything to feel love. So all unhealthy behaviors, addictions to drugs, food, sex, obsessive compulsive thinking, worrying, judging, codependency, extreme individualism or loneliness, perfectionism, idealism, being superficial, narcissistic, workaholism, keeping busy, constant procrastination, etc., are tied to repressed core shame. Additionally, the trauma of this shame stops the developmental process, keeping a part of ourselves stuck in childhood thinking, fantasies, and roles. We are then set up to hide our issues, never mature, and deflect, blame others. Navigating basic adult situations, talking to parents, authority figures, new relationships, success, compliments, criticism, and rejection may be excruciatingly difficult. You may have huge intimacy vulnerability problems, or relationships that are centered on enmeshment, fear of abandonment, or control. You may pick a partner who is the embodiment of all the parts you abandoned, or just like mom or dad. But since we judge people to avoid our own shame, this will make you feel both attracted and repulsed. Shame may affect every single thing you think and feel. You may automatically treat anything anyone new with fear and judgment. While you may over time construct an adult mental definition of love that's about flowers and candy and the perfect family like the show Full House or Family Matters, our childhood embodied feeling of love is whatever you actually went through as a kid. That was disrespect, neglect, or abuse, then you may have taken it to your core that love feels like abuse. This is why people constantly beat themselves up, or stay stuck on negative, or stay in abusive relationships even though it doesn't logically make sense. Your whole way of dealing with life can be touched by so much shame in your core, heart, love tank. You may be a shame-based person, have no idea of what healthy would even be, and no example of it anywhere, ever in your life. As adults, we often avoid deny our emotional reality by judging our inner child woo-woo as something silly or not really important, much like the adultist ways we view children. However, if we made a graph of our lives, the adult part of us is pretty recent, while the childhood part has been around for much, much longer. This means, ironically, that our inner child is actually the oldest part of who we are. And if the mind is 80% unconscious, then there's a strong bet that your unconscious child mind is going to get its way 4 out of 5 times. As the oldest part, it is the most authentic, natural expression of yourself before you were socialized. It is the part that is closest to your heart. A key part of healing our inner child is acknowledging, externalizing, and legitimizing any shame you have taken on, including our caregiver's own shame, and to teach ourselves self-vulnerability by making a non-judgmental space of unconditional loving care and uber baby soft sensitivity to slowly let up all those painful repressed feelings. Meditating on the parts of ourselves we hated, hyper-policed, or avoided, or felt worthless, stupid, a failure, disgusting, etc., allows us to validate and heal our split-off, neurotic, hurting parts, reshape our negative inner voices, and re-examine the roles we use to hide our shame. Once we can handle it, we can open up to new experiences our inner child needs to heal, stand up for ourselves, and express our shame with safe others. Inner child work often involves some kind of play therapy or imagination. The following exercises will help you address shame and repression to give your inner child the power you wish you had then. Okay, healing toxic shame. So before we go on, that ain't easy to read. Let me just say that, okay? So would anyone like to discuss anything about what we just read? Just want to make space for me to explain, re-explain. Something touched you and you want to just mention it. We can just make space for just any dialogue at all about what we just read. If I could say something, it would be don't be surprised if you discover you are a shame-based person, because I am. Yeah, no shame, no more shame in it anymore. No more shame in it. No more shame in it. It just is what it is. I grew up the way that family is described, the shame-based family, the one that blamed other people and never admitted to their faults, and that's in many ways the family I grew up in. In many ways, I had a father who literally never apologized. I don't think he ever said the words "I'm sorry," unless it was "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "I'm sorry you're angry, but I'm doing it," Unless it was that. I never had a father who acknowledged anything. Neither one of my parents acknowledged my feelings. It was always just telling me what to do. I remember when I used to cry, my mom would always go, "Oh, well, I just can't stand to see a grown man cry." I wasn't a grown man. I was 8 and 9 and 10. But, that was the thing she said. She said she saw her father, grandpa, she saw grandpa cry like once, and it just broke her. So she just couldn't stand to see a man cry. And I was always like, wow, well, here I am crying. So I guess I'm just wrong for crying. So I already felt wrong. And now I feel wrong for crying too. Wow. Wow. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. We judge and compare, which leads to shame. Childhood wounds address shadow work. Yes. I never, if you don't mind me asking, how has that affected you? I never in a million years would have thought inner child work is shame and guilt. And to be honest with you, the topic of shame and guilt was something that I thought, well, I don't have any shame. I mean, I'm very proud of myself. I like my job and I have a great career and I have degrees, and, I'm a good person, and I thought I didn't really have any shame. And it wasn't until, wow, it wasn't until I watched a documentary. It was the R. Kelly documentary that came out last year before that. It was the R. Kelly documentary, and it was all these women talking about what happened to them with R. Kelly, and I was watching their emotional responses. I was looking at the reasons why they did what they did, I remember I had this weird feeling coming up, but I didn't know what it was. It was just this real weird feeling. And I was talking to my friend, and he was like, "Oh, well, sounds like what you're feeling is maybe just shame. Like, maybe what they went through. I mean, what they went through on the video here brought them a lot of shame. So maybe what you're feeling is that." And I was like, "Shame, shame." And then something in me like started shaking, just started shaking. Ooh. And then I had to like take a nap. I had to take a 2 hour nap where I started shaking and crying, shaking and crying. And then, maybe months after that, I read this book, Healing the Shame That Binds You. And I was like, wow, that's what shame is. I get it. I get it. And how has it affected me? So, I got this book, Healing the Shame That Binds You, right around the beginning of the pandemic. And, I thought I did a lot of growth on myself. And then I read this shame thing and was like, holy crap. This opened up a whole new world that I really hadn't touched into. Like I hadn't thought about. I repressed. I mean, did I obviously repress things to deal with my childhood situation? Well, yeah, duh, obviously. But I never really like actually sat with that and said, I have to unrepress it one day. So when I read this book, I was floored. I was floored. I actually went to the Japanese gardens in Hayward, which were all locked up because of the pandemic, and I snuck over the fence so I could be in this garden all by myself, this beautiful garden all by myself for a whole day. And I spent the whole day reading this book and crying my eyes out. Sat in front of the Japanese fountains and just cried my eyes out and read through this book and put together some of these exercises. So this has led me on a whole new path of realizing like how much I really have to let go. And I would even say everything, anything you're holding on to, it's time to let go. And this research into shame taught me that if you would like to live free, freeing yourself of the shame, freeing yourself of the repression is such a humongous part of healing. That little kid never needed to deal with all that repression ever, ever. All the adults, society put that stuff onto that innocent little kid you were, that little innocent kid I was. And once it's done to us, we start doing it to other young people. So we got to break the cycle. We got to break the cycle. We have to free ourselves of this repression so we don't do it to other people. So for me, it's just really solidified why I'm doing all the work I'm doing, why my emotions are so important to me. It's also made it really clear to me why it's okay for me to tell my family, okay, it's been 30 something years and you still decided you're not going to grow and change. And I can say, good luck with that. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. You call great, you don't call great. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Sticking with you is not going to give me my healing. This is what's going to give me my healing. Okay. Them staying in my life would not have gotten me this. I'd have focused on them and focused on them. So I tried to get my parents to apologize and to see the light and to see what they did and to heal our relationship. I tried that and I realized I was the only one doing it. I was the only one trying to heal. No one else was trying anything. So since it was that important to me, and the more and more I research, the more and more important it is. Let me go get my own goddamn healing. Screw these other people. Screw these people who put the wounds there anyway. Let me go get my own goddamn healing. So that's how it's affected me. It's just made it really clear I'm doing what I need to be doing. Yeah. Okay. And just one last thing. I got this thing. I teach a class in childhood issues, so I always say that class is about learning how to do right by kids. And now that I'm a counselor and everything I do, Everything I do, all this emotional work, is learning how to do right by kids. And the number one kid I got to learn to do right by is my own inner child. Okay. Okay, so let's try some exercises. Let's try some exercises. How to heal from shame. Number one, get hella good at unrepression. While repression can always be an option, it should never be your first automatic one. This is why expressing any of our emotions is healthy, because it's a start to unlearning the toxic core shame repression process. You may have been holding on to shame from your parents since you were 3. So allow yourself to breathe, rest, meditate, imagine, and unrepress everything. Every thought, feeling, relationship, habit, assumption, like, dislike, smell, animal, vegetable, mineral, literally everything. Good, bad, otherwise, if it arises in any way, and especially if you know you hide yourself behind it, let yourself unrepress it. Even on a physical level, unclench everything. Okay, let's give this a shot. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Unclench, unrepress everything. I'm going to put on some music. 5 minutes. Just let yourself chill and unrepress everything. Oh. Oh, oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Oh, God. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so that was, excuse me, that was getting hella good at unrepression. Man, man. Okay, a lot of things came up for me there, and I'm just gonna reiterate it. Whatever comes up, it's the unrepress. Unrepress. It's coming up to let it out and let it go. So whatever comes up, unrepress. Okay. Any thoughts that come up, unrepress. All thought all together, unrepress. Just everything that comes up, every little pang you feel in your gut, pain, my lower back pain, unrepress, unrepress, unrepress. Sometimes doing that makes it more intense, but then it goes away. Sometimes it shifts. Unrepress, unrepress, unrepress. Let go, let go. When people say love is letting go, this is it. God is love and love is letting go. It's unrepressing. Let it all unrepress. You can't hold on to any of it. The gripe, what they did to you, it's over. You can't really hold on to any of it. It's all old coping mechanisms. It's all old coping mechanisms. So just unrepress. Unrepress. And anything you hide yourself behind, especially those things, even the little things, I'm a workaholic, unrepress. I have to wake up in the morning and make breakfast, unrepress. Do I know if it's daytime or nighttime right now? Unrepress. The next memory that comes up from my past, unrepress. That pain I feel in my forehead, unrepress. Unrepress everything. Everything, everything, everything. And if you find yourself thinking something like, oh, well, but, I need to, obviously I need to pay my rent on time. Unrepress. Unrepress. You know what? We'll talk about that on the first. Today, for right now, that's a thought you are holding on to. Allow yourself to unrepress it. Who knows what kind of shame you could be, we could be holding on to about the rent, money. So give yourself a moment. Unrepress everything. I unrepress everything. I commit to unrepressing everything because God is love and love is letting go. You want to bring God into your life? Let go. Let go. God is love and love is letting go. Okay. Okay, number 2. Here we go. Number 2. Hiding shame. No, wait. Discussing healthy shame. My eyes. Discussing healthy shame. A kid who feels limitations is not good, but an adult who doesn't feel their limitations is not a healthy adult. So, get comfortable with acknowledging all your limitations. Start small. Just name something of low importance that you can't do right now and say, I can't go take a walk because, and think of one reason why you can't do it and just sit with the feeling of your limitations. Okay, I can't take a walk because I'm here teaching this class. Okay, just sit with that feeling. I can't take a walk because I'm here in this class. I can't, I can't, mm, I can't, I can't, I can't go running. I can't go running. I can't go running because I'm in this class, and I can't go running because I have a heart condition. My heart condition means I can't run. I can't go running because I have a heart condition. Just sit with the feeling of that limitation. I can't eat a second lunch because I won't have room for dinner. And just sit with the feeling of that limitation. That's an important limitation there. We can't just eat nonstop all day. We have to recognize when we are full and when we are hungry. Important limitations. I can't just decide I'm going to be a triathlon athlete. I have to listen to what my body actually needs. If I just think, oh, well, my body doesn't matter, I'm going to be what I want, I can, start running and then give myself a heart attack. Important limitations. Important limitations. I can't earn 2 PhDs right now because I earned one and there would be too much work. I don't have enough time in the day. I'm earning a master's degree instead. Who knows? I may have 2 PhDs in the future. Who knows? But not right now. I don't. I can't. I can't. Just sit with the feeling of that limitation. I can't bake a cake right now. I don't have any cake mix. I don't have any flour and sugar. Actually, I have flour, but no sugar. I can't make a cake. I can't make a cake. Although it's funny, I don't think I've ever actually made a cake before. Have I? Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, more advanced is to say, I'm not good enough to, okay, and then find one good thing about the shame you just felt. Okay, so I'm not good enough to make a cake. I'm not good enough to make a cake. I never really learned. I don't eat a lot of sweets, and the ones I do, I generally just buy. I just go and buy a cake. The week I decide I need to eat cake, I'm gonna just buy a cake and just munch down on it. I'm probably not gonna cook it. Okay, I'm not good enough to eat cake regularly. That heart condition thing too is the reason why I don't eat cake regularly. I'm not good enough to eat cake regularly. Okay, one good thing about the shame I just felt is that shame keeps me alive. That shame keeps me alive. Keeps my health in a stable state so I can do the things I do in my life. Okay. What's some of the other things I said I can't do? I can't. I can't eat another lunch. Okay. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to eat another lunch. 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 What's coming up for me here? I'm not good enough to eat another lunch. Not good enough to eat another lunch. I can't find a reason. Interesting. I'm not good enough to eat another lunch. Um, well, I put a high priority on dinner. I have an idea of what I want to make for dinner. I want to make some red beans in my crock pot. Not my crock pot, my Instapot. So I'm not good enough to have another lunch because I've got all these thoughts about dinner. All these thoughts about dinner. And one good thing about that is it's gonna allow me to not overeat, and all the food I bought, all the salads I bought to stretch me through the week will stretch me through the week instead of me eating them all in one day. That's good. That's good. Healthy shame. Healthy shame. I'm not good enough to have two PhDs. I'm not good enough to have two PhDs. I chose to dabble in lots of different things and earn master's degrees and explore the things that interest me and live my life. And I got a PhD in life. Well, so technically a PhD in life means I do have two PhDs. So there you go. So I'm not good enough to have a PhD by many people's standards because the PhD in life may or may not get recognized. One good thing about one good thing about that shame. One good thing about that shame is one good thing about that shame. One good thing about that shame is, I didn't. I could have three PhDs by now. I mean, if school was literally the only thing I focused all my life effort on, I'd have no other life. So the good thing about that shame is it's teaching me balance. I devoted so much of my life energy for school. So that shame is teaching me to have a balance, to have a more balanced life, to put that energy into all the things that are important to me. Okay, I'm not good enough to be a perfect counselor. I'm not good enough to be a perfect counselor that solves everybody's problems. Good thing about that is is I'm realizing that, I can only know what I know and I can only offer what I offer, and it's not my responsibility to save anybody. I can't save anybody. I'm not even sure I can save myself. I'm not sure anyone can be saved. Life might just be a leaky boat, whatever it is. And sure, you pull somebody out of one boat, but but if life is a leaky boat, you're only pulling them out of one boat into another boat that has a leak in it. All boats have a leak in it. Life is a leaky boat. No one makes it in the end. No one makes it in the end. So even if you pull them out of a boat, you're putting them into another boat with a leak in it. All of our boats have a leak in it. Every boat has a leak in it. And maybe the leak is slower. Some leaks are faster. You can move into a slower leaking boat, but all boats have a leak. That's life. It's a leaky boat. It's a leaky boat. You started the race, and halfway into the race, you realize, well, I'm 40, I'm 39, I'll be 40 in a couple of months. You realize it's a leaky boat. Whatever you do, it's a leaky boat. It's a leaky boat. Do I want to keep running backwards into boats that are leaking slightly less? Do I plunge forward, into the more leaky boats? Do I try to just rush to the shore to the end? What if I discover that all the leaky boats, the shore is so far away, it turns out no boat makes it to the other shore. You look ahead of you and you can see there's boats that are significantly farther, twice as far ahead as you are, and you've been rowing for a while. There's boats twice as far ahead as you are, and you can still see they are clearly not going to make it to the other shore. Yeah, yeah. It's a leaky boat. It's a leaky boat. It's a leaky boat. Not good enough to be a perfect counselor because I'm a human being. No one needs to be perfect about anything, ever. It's not possible. It's not possible. Whew, boy, boy. That message really needs to get heard by my little child self. My little kid self really needs to hear that. I was just so bent on trying to be the perfect student because I wanted love. I thought if I was the perfect student, everyone would give me the approval I wanted. I'd feel safe. I'd be a good person. I was a good guy. All of that, all of that meant the real me was sort of like not good enough. So I had to stuff the real me to be that person on the surface. The real me always felt like, well, yeah. I mean, for being queer, for being opinionated, always felt like I wasn't good enough. I was too much. I'd be harmed if I was open and honest about my real self. So that's what living in the closet is all about. Okay. So if limitations point to core shame, meditate on the parts of yourself you hate. Okay. So let's just yeah, you're right. And try one of the following. Labeled wrong. The next one's labeled wrong. Go through this worksheet and name something that you struggle with. Why are you that way? What happened? What do you have to label wrong about you to become that way? Imagine what you wish would have happened instead. Okay, so one thing I struggle with is being social. I struggle with social, you know, I'm not sure I want to put a label on it, but I could say I have a pretty bad social anxiety problem. It's just, I could say that, but I have social struggles. Let's go with that. There are times when I have massive social anxiety. There are times when I'm fine. There are times when I can be social, but I have to be around people I know. There are times when I'm willing to be around people I don't know and be very open. Those times are few. Those times are few. There are a lot of times when I run and hide and sequester from people, which has only gotten much worse since the coronavirus happened. I spent the vast bulk of last year. I mean, I guess lots of us spent the bulk of last year sequestering from people, but I have to say it was quite remarkable at how good I was at it. I really had very little fear of getting COVID-19. I still don't, because I'm so good at social isolation. So, and that's because of okay, and then, why are you that way? What happened? Well, yeah, as a kid, I was someone who did a whole lot of isolating to get through my childhood situation. I felt like my parents didn't listen to me or honor my feelings. And, whenever I said what I felt and they didn't agree, it turned into me getting out 2 sentences and my mother getting out 40 minutes of going on and on and on and on and on about how she felt about everything. So that really taught me to shut down. I really taught me to shut down. And it took me years to say these words until last year. But frankly, I felt like I was bullied. I was verbally bullied. Some bullies push you into a locker, and some talk to you for 40 minutes the moment you assert your opinion. Okay, no child's opinion should ever result in an adult going on for 40 minutes about themselves. Okay, hello. And then for that to happen over and over and over and over and over and be like the whole backbone of my childhood. So I got to a point, very early in life where I just decided I cannot handle this. And so I locked the door. I went into my room, locked the door. I plunged myself into my music and my writing. Yeah, so I got the hell away. I just couldn't handle my mother at all. I felt like she bullied. I mean, I didn't have the words I couldn't say bullied. I just felt like I couldn't take it anymore. I'm 7 and I can't take it anymore. Right? Right? Okay. What did you have to label wrong about you to become that way? Hmm. Now that's an interesting question. Let me see. What did I have to label wrong about me? Well, part of me felt like it was wrong to just shut out my part. I never said this out loud. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Part of me felt like it was wrong to just like shut my family out, to shut people out, shut the people who know I love or who say they love me. It felt like it was wrong to just shut them out because I was losing patience. Like I just felt like part of me was always like, well, maybe you should just explain things better and they'll get it. Or, if you just give them a little more time, maybe that next conversation they'll finally see your point of view. And instead of it being an argument, it'll be more of a discussion. I mean, fuck, I was a little kid. I was an innocent little kid. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I really thought this, okay? Oh, man. Oh, mm, oh, man. Oh, but you know what? I'm also sitting with, I did what I felt was right for me. I honored my boundaries. And I didn't have parents to teach me what the healthy boundaries were. I had to construct this boundary on my own, you know, because I didn't think they were healthy. So I had a mother who, talked at me for 40 minutes, and then a father who was never there. Well, it wasn't like I could bounce things on him. So I had two parents who just didn't have healthy boundaries on me at all. So I did the best I could do. I did the absolute best I could do. And it took me 20, 30 years to admit I felt bullied, traumatized, bullied, verbally bullied by this behavior. And that's how hurtful it was for me, you know? I mean, I got spanked and everything else too, and I got my pains about that too. But this verbal bullying, I mean, hurt me to the fucking core in a way that took 20 years to even put into words. 20 plus years to put into words. You know, maybe the part of me that felt like I was just that sensitive, I labeled that part of me wrong. I thought I should put up with it. I did label that part of me wrong. Part of me that kind of felt bad that, well, I should give them a chance. 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 Pop. I should give them a chance. Pop. I should give them a chance. That innocence. I labeled that innocence as wrong. I labeled that innocence as wrong. That innocence kept getting me hurt. Oh. 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 Hmm. You know what? My innocence can never be wrong. It can't be wrong. No kid's innocence could be wrong. You did the best you knew how. I struggled for a long time with, well, I mean, if I just known this, or if we'd had a computer, I could have looked this up, and then we could have gone and gotten help, or I could have got my family into therapy. If only I could have did this, and if I had known better, if I just could have fixed it, I could have fixed it, I could have fixed it. I struggled with that for a long time. No 10-year-old is responsible for trying to fix their family. Struggle with connection, with emotion, and understanding connection with men. Didn't have one with dad, and question what is reason for men and women in relationships. Label myself wrong for isolation and not understanding human connection. Okay, so the next part is imagine what you wish would have happened instead. Imagine what you wish would have happened instead. Honestly, what I wish would have happened instead is I would have said, Mom, enough. And she would have said, what, am I talking too much? And I would have said, you went on for like 20 minutes here. And then it would have stopped then. She would have said, oh, I'm sorry. And she would have just, reflected. She would have gone, the next argument should have gone on and on and on. And then maybe, yeah, sure, 15, 20 minutes. She goes, oh, I've been going on for a while, haven't I? And then you can see she's got some insight. And then, we're arguing again and again. And then maybe, it's 5 minutes the next time or 10 minutes. And then it's 5 minutes eventually. Maybe years, maybe it takes years. But, one day we're sitting and we're talking and she starts going on her thing and 2 comments into it, she catches herself. She actually catches herself and then asks me, how do I feel? And then she listens. And then, instead of immediately having something to say right after I stop speaking, she like pauses. She actually pauses. She takes it in. She nods. She takes it in. She brings up a feeling word. Is that what it is that's going on? And then I suddenly feel my defenses drop. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to go hide in my room. I want to really make sure she understands. I'm talking more. She's piecing out the details. We're sitting down now. She's really open. Maybe she shares her own experience, but it directly connects to what we were talking about and what I'm going through. And maybe it's slightly off, so I start explaining things. And then, suddenly I look at the clock and see I've gone on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I have to apologize. Maybe we laugh together about it. Maybe, she says, hey, like daughter, like mother, like son, like mother. We have that in common. We can laugh together about it. That's what I wish would have happened instead. What a nice memory. That memory never happened. Girl, that memory never happened. But I just put it there and it made me smile. Really made me smile. You can see me and my mom hugging each other or walking somewhere hand in hand. We would be doing that after an argument if we had had this kind of conversation. Yeah. To be honest with you right now, I feel like I got my mother back. Mm. Wow. Do you think if you said that to your mom, would it have changed your childhood or who you are? Honestly, the answer to that question is no. The other answer to that question is no one knows, right? The real answer, the answer you can always give is no one knows. There's no way to know an alternate future. Um, who knows? Maybe if I had at least one gay relative, that alone might have changed everything for me. Maybe not. Who knows? I would say though, at this point in my healing journey, that kind of thinking is more about acknowledging what you feel. You know, Well, if only I had had that support, I would have been a ballerina today. I could be at the Met, dancing right now. If only I had gotten the right support, I'd be at Carnegie Hall. That that kind of thinking is really more about feelings. It's more about feelings. The feelings of regret, remorse, perhaps even resentment, regret, sadness, missed opportunities. A life. Anyone who's been through. Well, I guess life brings all these things, but Lord, if you've been through abuse, I mean, yeah, so many missed opportunities. So many missed opportunities. I could have had a lifetime of, so many missed opportunities to share, to hug, to understand, to build connection. So many, so many missed opportunities. What I will say though is I don't have to miss those opportunities anymore with myself. I don't have to miss any more of those opportunities ever again with myself, my inner family, my head, my heart, Mother Earth, Father Time, Sister Air, healthy food, brother, sister, healthy food, brother, water. I don't ever, I don't ever have to, I don't ever have to miss any opportunities connecting to my family ever again, ever again. Yeah, yeah. Because I learned to give myself unconditional love, because I'm learning how to give myself unconditional love, I always have a family. So it's okay that things didn't change. It's okay that it happened the way it happened. It's okay that it happened the way that it happened. I learned how to give myself unconditional love. It's the only thing. It's the only safe space there ever will be, and it's the one thing that I would just wish for everyone, from my parents, my mom. It's the one thing for what she went through in her life. The one thing I would wish for her is unconditional love, not the. Of course, I love myself. I'm a strong black woman. Not the boasting, not the arrogant, not the superficial, but 100% every part of who she is, the whole from head to tail, what she went through, the good, the bad, the ugly, unconditional love. And I don't know if I can give her unconditional love. Can I give it to me? Can I give it to me? Actually, I tried to give her unconditional love and I didn't. I tried. I tried. I failed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Can I give it to me? Can I give it to me? It's funny you should say all that too, because the one person I do have unconditional love for is my brother. My brother, who is, not, I don't want to go into details because, let's say my brother has done things that, frankly, I think he ought to be in jail for at this point. But um, no matter whatever he does in life, it seems like no matter what he does, I will always love him. There will always be this space in my heart of just, I mean, my brother could just, go through a my brother could go on a shooting spree through a mall. He could just rip babies' heads off, and I still would go to jail and sit there and hug him and tell him I love him, and the love I feel wouldn't change for him one iota. I don't feel that way about I don't feel that way about my parents. I wish I did. I wish I did. Um, I don't feel that way about my parents. I want to feel that way about myself, though. I want to feel that way about myself. Unconditional love. So if I can feel that way about my brother, then that feeling is what's there for me to learn how to give it to myself. So then I can learn to give it to my parents and then give it to the whole world. Being here and seeing you cry, I feel like it will help me learn to see my future spouse as a human with feeling being lived in household where both parents didn't show emotions, would get yelled at, etc. Yeah. Oh, that's good. And hopefully, hopefully a whole world of loving, supportive, expressive, emotional people come into your life. Men and women, people, everybody comes into your life. So that way you don't ever have to live in any situation where people don't show emotions and get yelled at. Ever, ever, ever. And I'm so glad I can model that. I'm so glad it took so much work for me to get here. So much letting go. So much letting go. Okay, so the last one is hiding shame. Hiding shame. Okay, we can make a list of all the things you don't really want everyone or anyone to know about you. And tell yourself the story about what happened and identify the shame you are still holding on to. Is there anything healthy about your boundaries, limitations, humanness that you can learn from the situation now? Okay, we all got a list of the things we don't want anyone knowing about us. Okay, so let's see. If you can see what you're comfortable with on that list with sharing. Um, well, I guess I could say this. I don't really want people knowing that I don't have much of a sex life. I'm not a bad looking human being, and I could easily probably make that happen. I could easily make that happen. I don't have much of a sex life these days. Um, okay, okay. And the story, what's the story? What happened? What happened? Okay, well, my 20s was a lot of sex. I had a lot of sex in my 20s, a lot of hooking up, a lot of that, a whole lot, mucho, mucho, mucho. And then once I hit 30, it was like something in me just clicked and I really wanted a relationship. I was really serious about wanting to settle down, making that my main focus. And then I struggled. My relationships, my whole life have been really short term, right? Even when I was mostly hooking up, I would date and then, I'd date somebody for a month and a half, and then we'd break up. Or 3 months tops. And then, like I said, I got relationship focused. My relationships would still just only last 3 months, and it really hurt. And I was like, what that's about? What's that about? And then I started digging, doing all this healing work. Still, my relationships last 3 months. So then I just kind of hit a point. Well, my last partner 2 years ago, we were dating. We were okay. 3 months into it, though, it was just kind of clear. Well, he wasn't very accepting of me being expressive and unique. He was very sort of like, he was an older guy and very in the closet. He had lived a lot of his life in the closet. So just anything, like even this sweater I'm wearing right now, it would have made him a little uncomfortable walking down the street with me. And I just think that was not healthy for my self esteem. So I was trying some cool things, getting my toenails painted and putting earrings in and doing kind of girly queer stuff. And he kept saying, your femininity makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. Your femininity makes me nervous. So after I heard that about 6, 7, 8 times, I mean, and I identify as a two-spirit person. I mean, I identify as a boy and a girl, or both, or neither. So, a third option, or whatever, So I'm really open-minded about all this stuff. So he just kept saying your femininity makes me nervous. So after about the 10th time I heard that, I broke up with them. And that was it just felt so awful to have your partner constantly say stuff like that about you. So I don't know. Since that happened, I've just been alone. I've just been alone, kind of working on my own inner stuff. I haven't been trying to date. I haven't even been trying. Glad I moved on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And honestly, it wasn't easy. I moved on, and then a year later we reconnected, and he wanted to be friends, and then we were friends for about I'd say a week or two. And then we hung out again. I brought this up that he kept saying that you make me nervous, and then he just repeated it all over again. Well, you still do, you make me nervous, you make me nervous. And I was just like, dude, it's a year later. Like, for you to still be saying that a year later, I mean, like, it can't be about me. Your feelings can't be about me. You'd have to look at what's going on inside of you here. And then I said all that, and then he finally agreed. He said we'd make plans to hang out, but then we didn't. Then we didn't hang out until a year later after that. Then, yeah, that was about what, 3, 4 months ago? That was about 3, 4 months ago. And he's a kind person, and I appreciated him. And no, dating him would be a horrible idea. Horrible idea. So yes, yeah, I'm really glad I moved on too. Really glad I moved on too. Really sit. Okay, so okay, that was the story. That was the story. The shame I'm still holding on to. The shame I'm still holding on to. Well, I had a lot of shame around embracing my female side. That's one. So the moment I had a partner who just kind of tapped on that, I did not like that. Okay, well, that shame was already there, to be honest. I think a lot of us as men have shame around expressing femininity. We're taught to be ashamed of that. That's a big part of toxic masculinity, toxic shame, and toxic masculinity. Him constantly saying you make me nervous was really him dealing with his own shame around this issue. Didn't realize that till just now. But yeah, wow. Another shame there is I didn't get a lot of support from my parents. Right? They didn't say you make me nervous. They just said, "Oh, he's too much. Oh, go somewhere else with that. Oh, don't you go out the house wearing that." I got a lot of that. A lot of that. A lot of that. And then this underlining fear of, if I go too far, what happens? What happens to me if I go too far? Do I come home one day and then, I just can't even open the door? What happens? What happens? And a lot of shame, a lot of shame, a lot of fear underneath that too. Unsure why it's like that. We have both men and women, masculine and feminine. Right. That's exactly right. All of us have all those elements inside of us. And how you express them determines your unique way of being in the world, right? 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 That's how it works for all of us. And why, I mean, like, to be so caught up on it having to be this one way. Guys have to do it this way. It's got to be exactly like this. If you don't do, back in the day, it used to be the earrings. If you got one earring in like the right ear, you were gay. If you got it in the left ear, you were straight. But if you got it in both ears, then you were definitely gay. So there are guys out there who got beat up because they put the earring in the wrong ear. Like how completely ridiculous is that? Completely ridiculous is that? It's not ridiculous if you think about the shame. People who got shamed People who got shamed that badly might beat you up if you don't go along with what they're doing. You might be filled with so much shame you react by wanting to hurt somebody else who breaks the rules. I gotta sit with that for a bit though, because women are not shamed into being women nearly as much as men, boys are shamed into being men. You don't get to have feelings. Being a man is kind of defined as you're in control or successful. You don't get to be soft and have feelings. You get shamed out of that. You get shamed out of your softness and feelings. Maybe as a woman you get shamed out of, your assertiveness. Maybe that's it. Maybe as a woman you're shamed out of your importance, your ability to see yourself as you come first instead of being a helper for others. Maybe you get shamed out of that. I've heard a lot of stories of women who get shamed into, they never eat first. They always make sure other people have to eat before they get to eat. Or I've met women who they can't eat, mothers, older women, who can't eat at the dinner table with their family. They have to let the family eat, and then when the family's finished, they'll go eat by themselves, like in the kitchen, and then clean up because they were taught not to eat. They eat after everyone else. Many places in the world, when there are famines, often the men get food first, and then women go hungry. Men, and often it's men then babies than women. So often women go hungry or get the least. Well, often women go hungry. Often women are encouraged not to eat as much as the men are. So you get shamed into eating less and less also. Shamed out of eating your healthy portion, fair portion. I'm hearing men telling women, y'all too masculine, and going on YouTube teaching women how to be feminine. Mm, mm, well, 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 the reverse to that, though, is I would say a lot of women tell men that they're not masculine enough because either a lot of men these days will have maybe the attitude but won't have the car. They have the muscles but don't have the house and the car and the stuff that one normally associates with the dominant male status. So it's more now just about your muscles and your tattoos or that kind of thing. So men may complain that women are not feminine enough, and women complain that men are not masculine enough because no one can live up to these roles. No one can live up to these idealistic, superficial, unrealistic roles. Unrealistic roles. And yeah, it's a spectrum. Everybody fits wherever they fit on this spectrum. You know, I like being someone who's a nice blend of masculine and feminine qualities. So I don't want someone to curb and cut. So I have to hide and deny my feminine qualities. Yeah. I like being able to embrace all my qualities. I shouldn't have to hide and cut and deny any part of who I am. So you know what? If they think someone's too masculine or too feminine, let people think what they're gonna think. That's another way to shame people. That's a way to shame people by saying they're not good enough. They're not right. Right? And more than likely a person who did that is shaming someone else, has their own internalized shame around this issue. A shame-free way of looking at this would mean people express whatever they express. Right? I don't even have to label it. You expressed it, that's it. That's who you are. What's your gender? What are you wearing right now? Take a picture, boom, that's it. That's it. No judgment. No judgment. Is it too masculine, too feminine? Don't know. Don't know, can't know. No judgment. Without a comparison, it's just that. It's just that. Yes, love be imperfect. I have fun being that way. Mm, right on. Right on. Someone in one of my classes last 2 weeks ago said we should all normalize being wrong. It's okay to it's okay to be wrong, you know? It's okay to you thought the answer was A and you picked C and you were wrong. And it's okay to pick C and be wrong. Life gives another chance. It's okay that I picked the car that my key got stuck in the ignition and I had to pay a whole bunch of money. I took my car to the wrong mechanic and paid too much money, way more money than I should have. It's okay that I was wrong. It's okay. Yeah. I'm human. I'm human, right? I can do better next time. I can learn. I can be compassionate to myself. Yeah. Those things are healthy. That's what we all need. We don't need shame. We need compassion, understanding, balance, right? Consciousness. Yeah. 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 That's what that little kid needs. Okay, and with that, and with that, my babies, that is inner child work. So there are other exercises you can take a look at here. Feel free. Inner child meditation, and there's a thing called parts work. You can take a look at that as well. But for now, we'll go ahead and stop here and conclude class. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time and your attention and your participation and your feelings. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for class today, for this experience. And may everyone in the world have an opportunity to get in touch with their feelings the way we did today. Yeah, that's what I wish for everybody. May everybody work on their shame. So practice, please practice. Please practice. Nothing's a one and done. And good luck with your thoughts and feelings. And yes, thank you and have a wonderful night. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Take care. Take care. Have a good night.